And welcome back everyone, welcome back to Let's Play Broken Sword, the Shadow of the Templars. And last time we got the manuscript, we threw it out the window, we got searched by these two dickheads here. And while coming out, so we're not going to go back in, you can see the Nobel Prize winner there, look, in the doorway there. So we're going to go and retrieve the manuscript.
If the manuscript was what Flap and Guido were after, they were going to be disappointed. I couldn't wait to get back to Nico's apartment and check it out. You're just not going to believe what I've found.
It's not another part of the clown's costume, is it?
It's a medieval manuscript. Khan left it in the safe at the U-Boo.
It's incredible. Is this what he took from Plantar?
It could be, which means it's worth enough to kill for.
Look there, two guys on the same horse.
Oh yeah, maybe they couldn't afford one each. What of it?
Have you ever heard of the Knights Templar? Their official seal was an image of two knights sharing a horse. Whatever this manuscript means, it's connected with the Templars.
How come you know about these knights?
I learned about them while writing an article on the Crusades.
This was brilliant when I first saw it.
This guy, named Hughes de Payen, arrived one day at the court of King of Jerusalem. He offered to protect the Christian pilgrims from the displaced Muslim armies. The king would be able to guarantee safe transit to Christians in the Holy Land. Safer journeys meant more pilgrims, and pilgrims meant trade and wealth. The Templars proved invaluable to the king as a mercenary army. It was said that they never asked how many the enemy numbered, just where they were. And as the years went by, the Templars grew in wealth and numbers. They were so rich, even kings came to them for loans. But at the height of their power, they fell foul of the King of France. He rounded them up and turned them over to the Inquisition. Thousands of Templars were subject to torture and confessed to heresy. Of course, at the end of the Inquisition, there wasn't much they wouldn't confess to. The last Grand Master Jacques de Molay was burned alive. But the treasure of the Knights Templar was never found.
That was amazing when I first saw it.
Jeez. So the treasure is hidden, waiting to be discovered?
If there ever was a treasure, it's been lost for 600 years. Anyway, we're supposed to be investigating a serial killer, not a medieval treasure trove.
But maybe that's what the clown and his accomplices are after. Maybe this manuscript is the key.
You'd better leave it here for safekeeping. Think about it, George. One guy's already died for it, as you said yourself. Besides, that parchment is fragile.
Okay, I'm convinced. You keep hold of it. I found Plantar's briefcase in the killer's hotel room. It was empty, of course. You speak very good English for a French girl.
Thanks. You speak very good English for an American.
How come you enlarged this photograph of me?
Because I noticed the guy behind you, of course.
I found this in the killer's room.
What is it, a credit card?
ID, Thomas Merlin, of the Gruber Electronics Corporation.
Never heard of him, or the company.
I found this matchbook in the killer's hotel room. It's from the Club Alamut.
Never heard of it. Is there anything written inside it?
No, what were you expecting?
If this was a movie, there'd be a clue, a name or an address. That's no use. There aren't even any matches in it.
Oh well, I'll keep it as a souvenir. How did Plantar get your name?
For the newspaper, La Liberté. I'd written an article linking two unsolved murders, one in Italy and the other in Japan. The cases were remarkably similar. A wealthy victim, no apparent motive, and a costume killer. Plantar said he could supply me with more information. Somehow, the clown must have known about our appointment.
We're going to do the looking over at the clown over time, so we're going to ask more about him and more about her.
Let's take another look at the manuscript.
Let's face it, we need help, George. Someone who knows about these things.
Who do you suggest? Indiana Jones?
I know a guy who specializes in medieval studies. His name is Lobino.
Huh. Some stuffy old fossil who gets horny over ancient relics, I suppose.
Far from it. Andre isn't the stereotypical professor you have in mind.
Where can I find this Lobino guy?
At the Kroon Museum. I'll give you the address.
There's a woman looking at her reflection in a mirror, but the reflection has 3 hideous faces.
She reminds me of the Wicked Queen in Snow White.
She was the one who said mirror, mirror on the wall, wasn't she? She made me cry so much when I was a kid, Mom carried me out of the movie theater.
She didn't frighten me in the least.
Like I said, I was only a kid. I didn't like the crocodile in Peter Pan either. A knight with a crystal ball. Now, there's something written on the scroll beside the knight.
Yes, but it's written in Latin. Per disciplinam mea lux videbis.
By my teachings, you will see the light.
You speak Latin? Where did you learn a trick like that?
A trick? I studied law, okay? I can read Latin.
My, you're touchy. Tell me that again.
Through my teachings, you will be enlightened. There's a guy working on a loom. He's weaving a carpet or a tapestry.
Or a duvet cover. It's a clue to a place, I reckon. Somewhere famed for weaving and ships.
Where folk live in barrels?
It beats copper boxes.
There's a guy with a sword and a bull.
The only mythological bull I know of is the Minotaur, but he was only half bull.
I don't think I'd like to be half a bull, even if it was the bottom half.
What's that object between them?
It looks like a gem on top of a tripod.
Right.
Maybe I'll check out the Kroon Museum.
I'm sure you'll find it useful, George.
And I think we're going to go and do that now. And that will lead us up into a brilliant video into going to our next area. And we can pass away the time on some videos by talking to some other random characters. Which is not half bad, to be honest. I love this bit. This bit's so funny.
Access to the side and rear of the museum building was blocked by a dense cloth of bushes.
Oh, volume's a bit too loud.
A real macho guy would have plunged straight into the spiky, scratchy bushes. Not me. Through the grimy glass, I could see several large shapes in a gloomy room. What they were, I couldn't imagine. I considered smashing my fist through the pane, wrenching open the window, and vaulting triumphantly into the building. Then I thought, no, that's dumb. Besides, I might get hurt.
See, that's what I mean. This game, the original game, had all those humorous parts. I mean, you could click on that in the remake. They took it out, which took away the humour of this game, of what it was when it first came out.
The rod turned smoothly, and the window above me opened. This is ridiculous. I could be here for hours.
Leave it alone. That closet is over 3,000 years old.
Closet? It's a sarcophagus. The totem pole looked distinctly out of place in the setting of the museum.
Watch out! You'll have that down on top of us!
He just goes up on the balls of his feet, just steps up on tiptoe like, watch out, you'll have that down on top of us.
Touching an object as rare and beautiful as that would have been the act of a barbarian. It was a large brass urn. There was nothing in the urn. I looked down at a collection of tools with wooden handles and tarnished metal blades. There were knives, chisels, and spikes fanned out in a semicircle. I guess there's always been a need for home improvement. The case contained 2 rows of silver coins. Each coin on the lower row showed a portrait of a guy with a huge nose. I tried to sneak my hand inside while the guard wasn't looking, but the case was locked. The case contained some fragments of pottery. They looked to me like broken flower pots. Above them, a sign read, L'Âge Paléolithique. The case contained a collection of rocks. They were all shapes and colors, but they were still rocks. Above them, a sign read, L'Âge Paléolithique. It was a statue from ancient Egypt. Those old civilizations sure could teach us a few things about art and beauty. The statue didn't deserve to be mauled by a Philistine like me. The attendant had an air of self-importance and the kind of steely eyes that never seemed to blink. Pardon me,
Oui, monsieur?
are you Lobineau?
Oh, no. Fancy you mistaking me for him. No. I am the deputy custodian.
But Lobineau does work here.
Work? I wouldn't go so far as to call it that. He studies here most days, but as you can see for yourself, not today.
What can you tell me about the collection of pottery?
Those are remains of pots used by the original inhabitants of Paris. The Paris pot people.
When did they move out?
15,000 years ago, monsieur. Vanished in the mists of time. Didn't even have time to pack up their pots.
I thought the original inhabitants of Paris were a tribe known as the Parisi.
That is right, monsieur. Renowned for their pots. You see, in those days, people didn't have much in the way of possessions. A few flints, some animal skins, maybe the odd bone or two. Naturally, when the Parisi came along with their pots, why, everybody wanted one.
I guess they must have caused a kind of consumer frenzy.
Ah oui, they connected the market, cleaned up.
Alright, hold on guys, I'm just going to call an end to this video at this point because I've just had a phone call, so I need to go and call the person back. So I'll see you in the next video guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.